Welcome to another blog. This is Momita. We are about to get ready for another trip. It's New Zealand this time. But before we started packing our suitcases, a trip to Decathlon was essential as we would need warm clothes in New Zealand. Yes, I have just finished publishing the travel blogs to South Korea and New Zealand looks like a back-to-back trip. But the fact is that we visited South Korea in June and we plan to go to New Zealand in September. We wanted to visit New Zealand in March and applied for the visa a month before. But when the visa didn't arrive even after a month, New Zealand looked like a distant dream and Thailand came into the picture. But call it our luck, the visa for New Zealand arrived just one day after we booked flight tickets for Thailand. But the good news was that the visa validity for New Zealand was for a year. So with mini school closed for a term break for a few days, it's time for us to avail the visa and make our long-awaited trip to New Zealand. The check-in counter for Fiji Airways has a long queue by the way, and we have spent almost 30 minutes there, unlike our smooth check-in experience during boarding the T-Way Airways during our South Korea trip. Boarding for Fiji Airways will start at 3 p.m., which means we have only 1 hour left in hand. After a quick yet satisfying lunch with a veg thali and chicken biryani at an Indian restaurant in the airport, it's time for us to rush towards the immigration and security counter. The boarding process is a smooth one. Moreover, as we are traveling with a child, the privilege of skipping the long queue is also on our side. And now we just need to sit inside the flight and think of several ways to kill time as the journey from Singapore to Nadi is 10 hours. 10 hours. I have never been on a flight for so many hours. I remember feeling impatient during the 6-hour-long flight to South Korea. And above all, I am also dreading Minnie getting into her I'm bored phase. But thanks to the PTV loaded with cartoons and Peppa Pig songs, I don't need to worry much about this flight. I also brought some papers for her to color, so Minnie is going to enjoy her time before she drifts to sleep hopefully. I am keeping my fingers crossed. Meanwhile, they have served dinner. The time right now is 5:45 p.m. I want to enjoy the warm Jan meal and watch the K-drama I started to watch 1.5 months before. Whenever I plan to have some me time, something always comes up. Let's see how far I can watch the drama while flying 10,668 meters above the ground level. The last 2 days have been hectic, and my stress has nothing to do with what to pack for the trip. Rather, what not to pack was a big challenge. New Zealand, unlike the other handful of countries I had the opportunity to visit so far, is very strict about what you should and should not carry with you while packing for your trip. No cosmetics made of plant products are allowed. No wooden products, no unprescribed medicines, no clothing made of animal fur, no food products. I almost started to see a no signboard whatever I touched inside my wardrobe. So much so that the total weight of our suitcases came down from the permissible limit of 90 kilos to 31 kilos without much effort. If South Korea taught me how to survive with whatever I get to eat, New Zealand is teaching me how to travel light right from the start. Fantastic. The estimated time for the flight to reach Nadi is at 6:40 a.m. local time. We have spent 7 hours on the flight till now. That means 3 hours of journey is still left. It's 3:44 a.m. in Nadi right now and they have served breakfast. Their service is good, but my stomach is confused and my brain is exhausted. I haven't slept well. I never sleep well on a flight. And all that I want now is sleep. But even after reaching Nadi, another connecting flight awaits us to take us to Auckland. But luckily, it will take only 3 hours. We have plans to stay in Auckland for 2 days and then head to Christchurch. A road trip for 5 days from Christchurch to various destinations and an overnight stay in different hotels every day is what our New Zealand itinerary is made of. A U-turn to Christchurch followed by Auckland again and subsequently flying back to Singapore from Fiji is our return route. Although the plan looks messy and confusing right now, I intend to take one day at a time or I should say one halt at a time, and find out how this trip to New Zealand unfolds itself before me. However, the visa not arriving on time was not the only hurdle we faced during this trip. Fiji Airways was supposed to take us to New Zealand from Singapore to Nadi on 31st August. After a layover of almost 22 hours, a connecting flight would take us from Nadi to Auckland. But the flight rescheduled its timings to 1st September at 4 am and then got further delayed till 4 pm on the same day. And with the new timing, we had to strike off our plans to explore Fiji in that 22-hour window. We are not stranded passengers, so their options for hotel accommodations don't make sense. But they reimbursed our cab fare to Changi after checking in our luggage. We have reached New Zealand finally. Relief is the only word coming to my mind after spending 13 hours in the sky altogether. Now we have two more hurdles to overcome before we step inside New Zealand officially. One is immigration and the other one is facing the biosecurity officers. You must declare any food, plant products or outdoor gear inside your luggage to the officials or dispose of them. And if the luggage screening machines or the sniffer dogs find anything inside your luggage that you should have declared but didn't, you will be fined 400 New Zealand dollars. Thankfully, we have dumped the food items right after stepping into Auckland and are out of the screening area without any hassle. Purchasing a local SIM card is the need of the hour as we are in the country for the next 10 days. So keep watching this space and I will meet you in the next vlog.